Hi, I'm Scott,
And I'm Andrew, and thank you for joining us for Hebrews Podcast
where we talk about our personal experiences being dads in the day-to-day life of raising kids.
and coffee.
Lots of
Lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello there.
It has been a while
It's
again.
been a while again.
Seems like it's a little harder to get together weekly to record than maybe
Yeah.
it previously had been.
Yeah.
Also, we've been pretty busy ourselves. And
Yes.
see, there was something big that happened, wasn't there? Were you gone for a week?
I was gone
And?
a little. Yep, I was gone a little. You
Yeah.
had Nina and Eliza down.
That's right.
and-
They were here.
Yeah, so it literally like for 2 weeks, the time frame that we usually record, it was like we're both just
We're both
swamped.
doing stuff. Exactly.
And so
And
we're like, well, we'll do when we can, and
yeah. And then this weekend I had a pretty bad cold and I'm just getting over it. So you'll probably be able to hear that I know it's not much. It's just cold. Everyone gets colds, but I
Yeah,
hate
it's so
getting
annoying.
sidelined with colds. Yeah.
oh yeah. So, but we're back. We will be.
We're back.
We're gonna try to do every week, but we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
Just kind of go from there, but it has been a minute, but we're glad that you've tuned in, whether you are on Spotify or on
That's
YouTube.
right. Or YouTube.
And if you're not on the other one, check out the other one.
Check it out.
Um,
Yeah. You know,
yeah,
if you want to
just-
watch us, we're on YouTube. We got pretty faces.
I just realized that I am the biggest slacker when it comes to posting on our Instagram.
We have an Instagram account.
We do.
We also
And
have a Facebook account.
I said I was gonna post the pictures of the project that I was working on
With the
and I
youth room.
with the
That's
youth.
right. I forgot
Oh
all
my
about it.
goodness. I will. I don't think I can schedule it on ours, but
I don't think you
I'll
can
figure
schedule
out a way to-
Instagrams, can you?
You can through applications like Buffer
Oh.
or Social Post. There's a couple
Okay.
of them, but I'll figure out. I'll set a reminder in my phone so that I don't forget this time. But yeah, so yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
crazy couple weeks for both of us.
Real quick, before we get into this, I'm going to say I just made the tea that we did like
Oh, yeah.
2 or 3 episodes back because I'm
It's
not feeling
so-
great and I didn't want to drink a coffee at 9:30 at night. So I'm going to have some
It's so
tea,
good.
which isn't much better, I guess, caffeine-wise, but still.
It's not
Also-
bad.
I'm going to start drinking it because I'm thirsty and parched. What do you have over there, Joe? What,
I made-
Joe, not Joe. What do you know, Joe?
What do you know, Joe? I made a latte that I think the notes from the espresso beans were cherry, chocolate, and vanilla. And so I wanted to do something Christmas related because we're
Yes.
coming up on Christmas season, and I couldn't find pumpkin, and so I got some peppermint. But then as I looked at the flavor, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something different. So instead, I did those beans, so the chocolate,
Yeah.
vanilla, cherry, and then I have this creamer that I love putting in my coffee. It's the cinnamon vanilla.
Ooh,
It's
sounds very
super
festive.
good. Yeah, so that's what I got in an iced latte.
Nice. How is it?
It's okay.
It's
I think
okay.
I think I put too much milk.
Oh, I've done that frequently.
Yeah,
It's
But you
hard to
can-
get a good milk balance in lattes.
yeah, and I
But-
think I put too much ice too. But that's
Oh,
like I think Lainey liked it because she
Good.
took a sip before I came down. But I said, don't tell me how you feel about it because I want to be like
surprise, right?
first,
Right.
first sip. But she does like, and I think the reason that I think she liked it is because she didn't say anything about the overabundant coffee flavor because that's what I like. That's why I like.
That's
it dark
right.
roast.
She's not a
It's-
huge coffee drinker, right?
No, but she didn't say anything, so
There you
we'll
go.
see. It's still good. It's not my best, but I also haven't made an espresso in
It's been a minute.
it's it's been a minute.
Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I haven't made a coffee in a while either. I've made like 3 or 4 since I moved here for me. When people are visiting, I'll make coffees and we'll all have
Yep.
together. But it's just, I don't know. I haven't made coffee.
I go through swings with it. Like a couple weeks, I'll just be like almost every day.
Yeah,
And then I'll go a span where I just really want pour over. And
Yeah.
those
something
Yeah.
easy, quick. That's just
Yeah.
that you've made forever. It's kind of like a
Yes.
memory, more of a
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think part of it too is when it gets colder, I want to have more coffee because of the warmth,
Hmm.
and just the flavor too. Um, and it's hard to like I feel I'll feel jittery if I have three espressos.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
So, but
Uh,
still delicious, still
good.
delicious.
So as
So,
far as what we've been up to these past 3 weeks, two and a
three
half,
weeks,
it's been a
three
bit.
weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
My life has been in hockey mode. The NHL's
Mm.
back, so I'm watching hockey. The kids are still playing hockey. Uh, it's basically hockey all around in school.
Yep.
Um, let's see. I switched from Apple's iPhone to Google's Pixel 8 Pro.
Ooh.
It's actually very similar, but I like it. Um,
Except now our messages are green and I don't like it.
I can make them blue for you. You want them blue?
Can
I'm not
you?
gonna do it. Yeah, I use an app called Beeper, and it plugs into
Oh.
my iMessage. I've done that with you. I
Oh,
asked
you
you if it
did.
worked.
But it came through as your Gmail.
It comes
Ah.
through as my Apple
Oh,
ID
yeah.
email
But if I
because
link
it's
your two
using.
accounts, then
You could
it'll
do
come.
that. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll use my Apple ID instead of my phone number, but it still is iMessage technically. So
Yeah. Very
I
cool.
do that with my mom, my brother, because he's in England,
Ah, and then you don't get
and it's
charged.
free texting. Yeah, with
Yeah.
iMessages.
Yeah. So.
Besides that, there's something else probably happened. I feel bad. I should have written this stuff down while it happened. We didn't have another kid. We didn't move to a different state.
Didn't lose a tooth.
Didn't lose a tooth. Oh, that's right. We knew ham
Yeah.
was from pigs.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, there was one thing that I was gonna say. What did I got nothing? I'll think of it, and then I'll be like,
Okay.
"Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah."
Oh yeah. Well, it's been crazy. We went from, that, like I told you guys, um, the crazy buildup of all the renovations, and then we launched into the school year, and with all the
School.
ministries restarting and stuff, and it's been going good. It's been busy, but it's good.
Hmm.
We have youth convention actually this weekend, which is where,
That's exciting.
I think it's over 1,000 students all gather at the lacrosse convention center, and
Ooh, that's right.
it's a super fun time. We're bringing
Hmm.
the biggest group that we've brought in a couple of years, which is cool.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, that's exciting. The room is 80% done. And again,
All
I'll
right.
share those pictures.
Someday maybe.
Someday this Thursday, I promise, or today
This
actually.
Thursday.
Today,
He's
I
gonna
will
put him
share
up.
them.
Yeah, yeah. They'll be up
Um,
before Thursday.
yeah. So that you can see them, you can look back at them, check them out. It's pretty cool. I'm proud of it. I hope that we're still gonna do some more stuff. We're just kind of slowly working up to it,
Mhm.
because the budget of what we have left is getting kind of tight, and I want to be mindful of that. But
So
um,
you're gonna get like a 77-inch TV in there?
no, I actually thought about, because getting a like 100-inch screen that you can project onto, it was
Mm,
only like $250, and then you can get a projector
a nice projector. Yeah.
for like $300, maybe 400 if you want a good quality one.
Yeah.
And I just have it on the ceiling projecting down. I was like, that would be sick.
That would be cool.
But the more I thought about it, if our room was bigger, it would have worked. But
Hmm.
because of where I have to stand, the projector would be hitting me, and I was like, and it
Uh,
just looks weird. So I was super bummed that I couldn't make that work. But
cut a
yeah,
little
I've
cutout and put it on the projector screen so it just like goes around you.
yes,
You know what I meant, right?
yeah,
Okay.
that'd be funny. But so yeah, ministry's been ramping up and crazy, and life's been good. Rylan is
Good.
learning new words, putting sentences together now, and telling all these elaborate stories. And
Real
yeah,
stories or elaborate fake?
it's no, it's like he'll tell me, like he'll piece random things together.
Hmm.
Like today I came home from work, and he started telling me about this lady at the doctor that he said, Dada, lady doctor, ears, heart, was
Oh,
telling me about, how this
about what
lady.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah, it's super fun and trying to
nice.
pick up on his words and yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
So and he's getting his sass too, which is super fun.
Who's you get that from? Is that you or is that Elaine?
I'm I plead the fifth.
I think I know who that is. Then
No, but it's fun. It's super fun. So and
Mhm.
then hunting season's getting into full swing.
That's right.
So I missed my first buck with my bow.
Not the
First year
last.
ever. Yeah, probably not the last. Bow hunting's pretty tedious. It's a lot harder than
It does
guns.
seem like it's
Um,
it's more tedious.
but it is so much fun. Like
Huh.
it is, even though I missed, like I'm learning. And like I feel like I did everything right. I ended up
Mhm.
just nicking a branch. And then I just basically gave him a haircut. Like there were hairs on my arrow, which
Oh,
I'm super thankful for because my worst fear is wounding a deer or wounding an
mm,
animal, and
right.
not being able to recover it.
Yeah,
Because obviously, as a hunter, like you'd want to kill it and not have it suffer. That's the
yeah.
biggest thing. So, but so yeah, learning a lot. Super fun to just be up in the tree and just relaxing, hearing the squirrels and the birds and
Is that
um,
scary? Some of the weird sounds you might hear.
it can be
Hmm.
at night. It's obviously not so much fun.
I was
Um,
gonna say at nighttime
it,
seems to be scarier.
the spot that I hunt, there's actually 12 bears that aren't in hibernation yet. That
How do you
could
know there are 12
potentially,
bears there?
because the person that owns the property has pictures of 12 bears and he lets people hunt that property for
Hmm.
bears. He actually had the state record for the biggest bear shot on this property.
Wow.
It was 753 pounds, I
Oh,
think,
that's
some.
nothing, right? That's huge.
Stinking huge.
That is a big bear.
um, so yeah, it's yeah. So when they, I thankfully I haven't seen any back there, but they're back there. But
They're there. They see you
yeah,
though, huh?
it's probably or smell me. They're actually more. I just found this out recently. He was telling me actually, they're
Mhm.
actually more attentive to human scent than deer are,
Ooh,
which is crazy.
I hear they can smell fear.
It smell fear from a mile away. So yeah, it's been crazy. It's
Yeah,
been good though. It's been good though.
nice.
So, but glad to finally be able to
Sit
sit down
down,
and record and
do some Hebrews.
do some Hebrews because I've definitely missed it.
Oh, me
Definitely
too.
missed it.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's get to the jokes of the days.
Sure.
Do you want to do yours first, or you want me to do mine over
Sure.
here?
Yeah, I can do mine first.
All
So,
right, go for it.
what word gets shorter? Sorry.
It's already on it, huh?
No, I gotta pull that 1 second. I don't want to mess this up. Yeah, I
Mine's
did
a
say
little
it
longer.
right.
I had mine written down today too.
What word becomes shorter when you add two letters?
Short. Is that what it
Yeah.
was?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's good. It's good. It's a good dad like riddle.
Yeah,
I
you
like it.
stole my punchline.
I'm sorry. I didn't even think it was right. I was just like saying it. All right, here's mine. Excuse me here. There are two muffins baking in the oven. One muffin turns and says to the other, "Phew, is it getting hot in here or is it just me?" And the other muffin says, "Ah! A talking muffin!" I thought it was funny. I thought it was a great joke to tell like kids and stuff. I was like, oh,
Yep.
kids would love this.
Yeah.
So,
Oh goodness.
yep, that was my muffin joke today. I
The
thought it was very
muffin
funny.
joke. The muffin man.
So this week we're gonna reach into the archives. We got an email from a dear friend of ours, Cuppa Jojo, Mr. Jonah. I don't think he goes by that alias any longer. His question was, how do you see yourselves either replicating or intentionally avoiding ways you were raised. So it's a pretty big one. It's heavy. We've been thinking about it since he emailed us, which I won't tell you the date. It was a while ago.
But
a big
yeah,
part of me
wanted
not
to
really wanting to get into this is because of my family dynamic in my past, and I didn't want to say something that I didn't understand really. And as a parent, I mean, I've been learning a lot of things as I grow older, period. But also as I've become a parent, and I have interests of my children to look after, not just myself. But I'm going to preface my topic a little bit with this. I wrote it out. I'm going to be looking over here because I don't want to mess it up, but whatever. I do cough a lot right now, and I'm muting it so you don't hear me cough all the time. If you see it go like blank, like, wow, Scott's just coughing nothing. I am coughing. I love all my parents wholeheartedly, and I know that they've made mistakes. I'm pretty sure that they know they made mistakes as well in their life and in parenting. It's not a surprise. Everyone makes mistakes. The thing is, my parents were divorced when I was in 6th grade. So thinking about this topic, it was clear that there was some parenting I did not want to emulate in my children. That being said, I believe ultimately that my parents thought about what was best for us at some point or at all points. I don't know. I haven't really talked to them about it. I'm sure that they did consider me and my brother in their decisions of what to do, but I haven't talked to them about it, so who knows. But we'll start off with the bad stuff. Like I said, I love my parents. I'm not trying to knock on them. These are things that I don't want to do in my children's life. Not that my parents did so bad. It's just like I made a mental note of this is what I would like to do differently. First, my father has, when I was a kid, so this is all my knowledge from before my parents were divorced. So it's probably mixed up and muddled because I'm old and I have bad memory. So one of the things that, I really noticed that I didn't want to do was my dad would get angry really fast. His anger would get the better of him. There was one instance I recall vividly as a small kid. I think I was like 5 or 6. I don't even remember what happened. It was just a switch flipped and he started yelling and screaming, pulling us out off the table, not violently, just like he was angry. And basically me and my brother went over next door to play video games at a friend's house, and I don't know what happened at home. They probably talked something over. But it's just like that. I know I didn't want to be angry with my kids, and that's a struggle for me because then, if you know me, I get angry fast too. I go from like 0 to 60 really quick, and it's about controlling that every day for me with my kids, and it's hard to do. But that is one of the daily things that I work on with my kids, is not responding in anger. It's tough for me. It's just part of who I am, and I don't like that. But I'm working on that as a father and as a dad. Excuse me for the coughing still. I'm sorry if there's some cuts. It's because I almost died if I didn't die or whatnot. So, and another side, with the divorce, I spent most of my time with my mom. I lived with her after. And, it's tough picking out things that you don't like about your parents' parenting, because I have a lot of respect for my parents. Both of them made poor choices or good choices one way or another, but they had to live with their choices, and I don't feel like nitpicking at those. But with my mom, if I had to nitpick, by the way, my mom watches this podcast. I love you, Mom. Thank you. You did great. You did wonderful. Look, here I am. I'm okay. I'm sick, but I'm okay. Like physically sick, not mentally. The jury's still out on that one. But anyway, let's see. Her parenting problem that I would say I didn't want to emulate and bring into my children's lives is, it's not nosy. That's not really the word. But it's kind of like caring too much. Maybe that'd be appropriate. Yeah. Like caring too much about things. So she would always try to get us to talk about everything, and she'd try to get into like our lives and our business. Not that it's our business, because it doesn't seem like a problem to have as a parent trying to be there for your kid and know what's happening, right? But I feel like there's too much coming in, and like didn't give me room to just go to her and say something. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Does that kind of make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, what I'd like to do is give my kids more freedom to come up to me and tell me all about these things.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's being naive. Maybe I need to be more proactive in that. I don't know, but that's what I think. So those were the things that I would do differently than my parents. Why don't you give me some things that you have in your mind about differently you do than your parents parented?
Um, this was one that like I don't know. It like you had just said, like not that my parents were terrible or like I know that there was definitely things that they did differently than what they would have liked to do, whether they responded out of anger or something different. But I honestly could not really think of anything that was like a real strong like man I would totally do this differently.
Mhm.
And I mean there's aspects of like kind of like what you just said, not that my parents were the helicopter parents.
Mhm.
I know I remember when it kind of the switch flipped. And I know thinking back, like when I was under 16 and we felt like it was just this helicopter bearing down on us. Um, but the now that I'm older, like I guess and the more I've been kind of thinking about, it, especially with this question in mind, like, because we've had this question for a while, and I'm like, how do I even like, what do I say?
Right.
Not because I think my parents did that, like they're infallible and like they did nothing wrong, because they're human. And I know they did things wrong, and I know that they would openly admit that as well. Um, but I honestly like there's not a whole lot that I would say like, man, like yeah, I would do this totally differently.
Mhm.
Um, like I think just figuring out one thing that I know is going to be a challenge is like you just shared like that figuring out that boundary of when is it too much
Yeah.
to care, yes, but also to also let your kid kind of figure some things out. And there is a certain age, obviously, like I'm not gonna let Rylan just hey figure it out, kid, like
Right. You
have
do it
fun.
yourself.
Like,
Hmm.
like this not at all like but then also like not having to be there to hold his hand through every single step of his life. Now, are there times that obviously, as the parent and as the adult, yes, um, but then also just kind of letting him come into his own, them, because Lainey and I want to have more kids, um, but yeah, that was a tough one for me to really kind of like I don't know. There's not really anything that like glaring obvious in my mind that um that's like yeah I would totally do this differently. Um, so
All right. What
that's one
about? Sorry. Keep going.
that well no, I was just saying that's one that like that um helicopter-ish I guess
Hmm.
that I know is gonna be different because I'm different.
Yeah.
And but I also know it's a lot different when you have like they had five kids and I only have one right now.
Hmm.
So
One's
there's
easy.
yeah, yeah. There's a dynamic change that's there too that I yeah. So so
Hmm.
there's not a whole lot that and I think part of it too is like we're Lainey and I are still very early in our parenting.
Sure.
Like Rylan just turned 2. And not that that means that we don't know what we're doing. There's times we don't feel like we know what we're
Oh, I
doing,
get it.
but it's
Yeah.
there's that is going to continue to happen until it's where Jesus comes and like it's just a constant thing. But
Hmm.
um, but yeah,
Well, so then I guess I'll flip it to you.
sure.
What? Let's see how to phrase it. Uh, how do you see yourself replicating what they have done? Is there anything
Yeah.
specifically, or just generally? I think I went the general route, not the specific route. But I have some examples of specifics
Hmm.
uh, of parenting things that your parents did or didn't do.
Yeah, so one thing that for sure that I'm going to replicate, emulate, try to do whatever word you want to use. Not carbon copy, because obviously you
Hmm.
can't do that, and every situation is different. Whatever, blah
Sure.
blah. But one thing that I know I've was like I can think back to a couple times right off the top of my head, that of times where um, a couple times in particular, or maybe my dad um, reacted in a way that, my brother and I are doing something stupid, or
Hmm.
I was beaten up on my sisters, and he reacted in a way that was maybe a little bit too harsh, not like borderline child abuse, anything. There was no concern of that
Sure.
at all, but then just seeing him be humble enough to come back and then apologize for that,
Hmm.
um, and like just the his heart in part of that is just who he is, and that's who I am as well. Just that, like I love. I shouldn't say love because I hate being wrong, but I will always try to say sorry when I'm wrong, and then make it right. And so that's definitely one big thing that I'd like to do,
Hmm.
and like to kind of emulate and do. And then just their nature for like in the moments where like I was being stupid and I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing, and they came down on me and came down on me hard as they should
Mm.
have. But
Right.
then instead of leaving me in that moment, like I can think of multiple or two times in particular where both my mom and my dad separately like talked with me, and yes, they gave it to me hard. They shot straight with me. They told me like it was, because they knew that, they're not my friend, like they're my parent.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I know I'll definitely try to, like, I remember my mom saying to me clearly numerous times, I'm not your friend, I'm your mom.
Hmm.
But just how they would, yes, come down, and as they should, and correct, especially in the childish stupid things I was doing. But then at that moment where they could have just left me, or they could have just laid in a little bit harder and pushed a little bit more, and but instead of that, they then took that and they encouraged me, and they said, okay, but now what does the Bible say?
Hmm.
How do we move on from here? And so that just that the nature of, like, look, I love you so much that yes, I'm going to bring discipline when you need it. And I needed it. Um, but then not just leaving me in that moment of, meh, like, gee, thanks. Like, I'm this terrible person and I was doing this so wrong. And then
Right.
now what?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are a couple of them,
Right.
that I know definitely I will try my best to do. And just like you had said, like I've noticed, and I've talked about this numerous times, like
Hmm.
with Rylan, just how I respond, and how quickly that anger wants to come up and come out.
Yeah.
But learning how to take a breath, or learning how to, like I remember one time, my dad said, "We're not going to talk about this right now because I'm too mad,
Yeah.
but we will get back to this." And just learning how to take that breath and to pause, um, and to think about, okay, how can I respond?
Yeah.
How can I give that correction for their mistake, but then also encourage them, and really help them learn, from their mistake and from the thing that they're doing wrong.
Hmm.
So yeah. What about you?
So for me, I focused more on less correction and parenting, and then more of how focusing on like me being me. So my parents, what they did is in a good thing. I want to focus on the before the divorce, because after it was kind of a messy thing, and it was more of a each parent were on their own. But before, I can remember that my parents did a really good job of uh, being there for what my wants and what my like
Mm-hmm.
sports interests or video game
Mm-hmm.
interests, or so like my dad, I remember playing catch with him all the time out in the backyard,
Mm-hmm.
um, stuff like that. Him making time for me even though he had work.
Yeah.
and my mom doing puzzles and crafts with me and reading and doing music, things I loved to do. And both of them, what struck me is playing video games with me. And it's not something that either of them really had an interest in that I know of, but it was
Mhm.
something I was interested in. So they would
Mhm.
do it with me, and it wasn't like, oh, Scott, go play your video game so we can have some time quietly.
Right.
Which guilty. I've done that before with my kids, and I feel bad every time I do it until I remember. Oh, I need some peace and quiet for like 10 minutes.
Right.
But
Right.
um, like they would share the experience with me, and that meant a lot
Mhm.
to me.
Mhm.
And looking back as how I was raised, that's the good things that I remember is the time spent
Yeah.
together, quality time, which
Yeah.
is it's great, and that's an important thing I would love to pass on to my kids.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Um, yeah, and I'm gonna add like a post something at the end. I was gonna say memorandum, and I was like, that's not the word, and it was stuck in my head. Anyway, after all this, my mom got remarried to my stepfather when I was in ninth grade. And since then, he's been a wonderful father in my life, and a great grandfather to my kids. And he is amazing, and he's done a great job. Um, so I'm gonna run through. I didn't write this stuff down, but I was thinking about it the whole time. Is how I would parent differently with my stepfather,
Hmm.
differently from my stepfather, because he's just as big as a part of my life as my father has been.
Mhm.
Um, my stepfather is wonderful, and if anything, he's just a little awkward sometimes. Not in a bad way, but sometimes I feel like it gets in the way of what he's trying to say, and it's just in a silly way. And it's in my mind, it's just to be more deliberate. If I had a correction, taking what he's done, you just change it to be a little more deliberate. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, and what he did so well is he spent a lot of time with me in high school. Um, I feel bad because I feel like he was trying to not buy my affection with time spent with me, but I guess that's kind of the part of being a stepfather. I hopefully will never, ever, ever have to worry about that. And I say that in a laughing tone, knowing that I don't ever have that plan. Um, but I don't think many people do. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Mhm. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
he has been wonderful in my life. Lots of activities with us that we love to do, and he is great for my mom, and he's wonderful for my kids. So sorry I didn't
You're good.
say more about him, but very great influence in my kids.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I think one thing that like um I know you just alluded to it, and I've talked about it before too, and I can think back on so many times where like just my parents being present, and like being there for us, being there for me, in my moments of um where I needed encouragement because my brother was on the same baseball team as I was, and I was trying to compare myself to him, and I got mad at
was he always
myself
better
and
than you?
frustrated. No,
Oh
at
no,
some things, yes, but
not in
not at
baseball.
everything. At baseball, it just depended. When I was obviously when I was younger,
Hmm.
oh yeah, he could throw harder. He could.
I think you're a little
Um,
bit better at growing hair, though.
yeah. Sorry, Daniel. um, but see, he could throw harder, but I could throw
Oh,
more accurate.
that's important.
Yeah. So, but like even just like thinking back to like the numerous memories that I have of my dad taking Daniel and I out and teaching us things with baseball, or
Yeah.
teaching us how to do things in woodworking or building things, or but just like that because like I can remember so many times where because my dad was a high school math teacher until very recently. Actually, he retired from that, and then he's retired for 2 months, 1 month, 2 month, I can't remember. And then he got accepted into the church as the lead pastor. And so it was crazy. But that was like 3 years ago. So he had been a teacher at the same high school for 27 years, 28 years.
Hmm.
I can't remember now. Um, but what I remember as a kid was like he was our baseball coach, and it didn't matter if he had tests to grade. It didn't matter if he had X amount of things to do for work. Like he was going to be there for baseball practice, for the
Yeah.
game. It didn't matter how late he had to stay up, because he knew how much that time mattered, and how much that, and not in a like, I need to do this. And I'm sure there's times that like we as parents have to encourage ourselves with that. Like, I got to do this. Like, I got to be there for my kid.
Mhm.
But like, I know it was tough, and I know that it was strenuous, especially with four other siblings at the time.
Yeah.
Now there's six other siblings. Yeah, because they've adopted two. Um, but just being there and like taking those little moments that I'll cherish and remember, that I get to now hopefully instill into Ryland's life, of just being present and
Mhm.
actively showing interest in. And I can't remember what episode you brought this up. It was pretty early on where you had said there's times where like you obviously don't really care for some of the things that your daughters are interested in, and
Mhm.
it's normal, but yet still getting excited for them and with them.
Yeah.
And that's something that like I want to do, that like whatever my kids' interests are. Not that I'll jump through every single hoop just to make that happen, but I'll do my best within
Sure.
reason to help them, and help them in their interest in what they want to do, and being there with them. So yeah.
Mhm. You got anything else on today's topic?
I don't think so. That was
I
the
think
bulk of what I
yeah,
had thought through.
it
And
wraps it up for me too. I know that I've been thinking about this for a long time,
yeah,
and again, I want to reiterate that as a parent, the mistakes that I've seen my parents make are so easy to do myself.
right.
As a kid, I was like, "How could you ever do this?"
Right.
And now, as I'm an adult, I was like, "Oh yeah, I
Oh,
did that
yeah.
like 3 times yesterday." And it was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
such a different world looking at it
Oh
through.
yeah.
So
Oh yes.
yeah, that's
So
it then. Uh, let's see. Don't forget to like the video because we're on YouTube.
like it.
If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you check us out on YouTube or Instagram. I think we're on Facebook. We still have a Facebook page. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Or you can text us. Our number. No. Email us. That's the word.
Email.
At thehebrews@gmail.com.
Gmail.
If you email us a question, we'll answer it in.
Mhm. Reasonable time.
It's like 9 months. We got that email in February.
It's a tough one.
It was a
Like,
really tough one. It was one I really didn't want to answer because, like, I love my parents. They both make mistakes. All 3 of them, all 4 of them. My dad's remarried too, but I don't really know my stepmom too well, and I feel bad. But I'm sure that parents make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does. So
Everybody makes mistakes.
I don't know that song.
Miley Cyrus.
This is probably a good
Or
reason.
actually, no. I think technically that would be Hannah Montana. Thank
Oh.
you, younger sisters.
There you go.
So,
All right.
but no, seriously, if you do have any questions,
Mhm.
either drop it down in the comments, email
That's right. You
us.
can comment on the video
Yeah, we'd love to answer them.
or give us
we'd love
inspiration
to-
for our next topic.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's good. We'd love to answer them and have fun with that. We do have I haven't even told Scott about this. We did the Twinkie Wiener sandwich.
Yeah.
And there's another one that I saw that looks disgusting, but people are saying it's super good. So we may try it. I have to get Scott's approval first.
We drink cat poop, so
This one,
is it worse than cat poop?
it's not by the nature of poop, but
Come back next week and find out what it is, okay?
it's interesting. You'll see, I'm sure. Because we're gonna talk about it. We'll probably end up doing it, but
All
yeah,
right.
no, we love to try some stuff. So let us know in the comments if there's any cool way you can make coffee. Any questions? We'd love to answer them. So
Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you next time.